Hi guys, welcome to part 1 of Learn How to Knit. As I said before, you're going to need a size 9 or 5.5 millimeter knitting needles. I have 2 of them. They have a cap on one end and a point on the other, and I believe these are aluminum. You can use wood as well. You are also going to need some yarn. Mine is purple and it's made out of plastic and it was $2 at Walmart. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of our needles. Just put the other one to the side. I'm putting mine up here. And then you're going to take the yarn in your left hand. Now, we're going to make a slip knot. So my tail end of the yarn is down here. And I'm just draping the yarn over my hand to where the tail is pointed down, and the working yarn, which is attached to my ball, is up here. I'm going to hold on to the working yarn and then wrap it around my hand so it crosses in the middle with an X. Now I'm going to go under my loop and pull my working yarn up, and then simply pull on both my tails. That is your slip knot, and that's how you're going to start your knitting project. You can put this knot on your yarn, and you want to pull it until it's not super tight, but flush with your yarn. It still has a little bit of space in there, if you can see. A tiny, tiny bit of space. Alright, now we're going to cast on some more stitches on our yarn. So we're going to take our working yarn. The tail I usually hold with the needle so that I don't use it when I'm working. All you're going to do is twist the yarn and stick it on. Pull it. Let me show you that again. Take the yarn, twist it to make a loop, and stick that loop on your needle. We're going to do this 5 times. Twist, on, twist in the needle, on, twist, on. So now I have my slip knot, which was right here, and 5 stitches on my yarn. This is called casting on, and it's how you start working. As I said before, you want them to be kind of loose. If you pull it really tight, it'll be hard to get your other needle in there. So just loosely have them on there. Alright, now I'm going to switch this needle to my left hand. I hold the needle like this. This is how I hold my left needle in my palm, and I wrap my hands around it. I have my 2 fingers out here so that I can maneuver the stitches. I usually put them on the stitches. My other needle I hold like this in my hand, just in my hand. I put my index finger up here just to help me maneuver it. Then we're going to knit. To knit a stitch, like you saw me just do there, we have our 5 stitches here. You're going to insert your hook from the front to the back. So, this is the loop that goes around the hook. I'm going to catch the loop from the left side and go underneath to the needle. So you're not going like this. This needle goes to the back of this needle, but it comes at it from the front. Then I take my working yarn and I wrap it around the needle. Then I'm going to pull the working yarn through this loop. So I pull the working yarn through the loop, and then I'm going to slide this stitch off the needle. Don't worry about these stitches being loose down here. Since you're new, the tension is going to be off, and it might look funny, but it's practice. So once again, you're going to go to the left of the stitch and slide your needle in between it, like this. So it is behind the needle. Then take your working yarn again, wrap it around the stitch, and pull this stitch over and off. It is very slippery, these aluminum needles. If you're having a lot of trouble, switch to wooden needles. So wrap it around, and then you're going to pull this stitch over the one you wrapped and off the needle. Wrap, pull over, insert front to back, wrap, pull over, insert front to back, wrap, pull over. Alright, so now I've knit my first row, and I still have 6 stitches. I have the Slipknot stitch, and then the ones that I wrapped on, the 5. So now my stitches are on this needle, but I always knit by holding the needle with the stitches on it in my left hand. So I'm just going to switch hands. And now I'm going to knit again. All right. So you just do the same thing that you did before. Insert your needle front to back, yarn over, pull through and off the needle. Insert your needle front to back, yarn over, pull the yarn over through and off. Insert the needle, yarn over, pull it through. 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 Switch hands again. Put the one with the work on it in your left hand. I want to show you guys a really up close of me inserting the needle. So here's my loop right here. I'm coming from the front of the yarn and inserting the needle underneath it. If I pull it out really wide, it looks like this. But you can tug on the working yarn to tighten it up. Then I yarn over on the needle that's underneath, and I pull it through this loop, and then I slide this loop off. Insert the needle, yarn over, pull through and off. So I'm replacing with this yarn loops on this needle and taking these loops off. This is knitting. See, sometimes I make mistakes too. Just pick it back up and keep going as best you can. Look, I've knit about ½ inch. So what I want you guys to do tonight is just practice casting on and knitting. cast on a slip knot, and then 5 stitches and knit for a while. Just practice knitting, because eventually you're going to be able to do it without even thinking if you keep at it long enough. Alright, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about Gage. If you are perfectly fine with what you're doing, don't worry about this. It's just more of a headache. So what I'm going to do now is intentionally knit tight to show you what it looks like. Which it's really hard for me to do because I am naturally a very loose knitter. So I'm just going to knit a few rows really tight. So how to know that you're knitting tight is it's hard to get your hook into the loop. You're having trouble getting it in there. Or if your fabric kind of bunches up together. And if you're knitting really tight, you just go up a needle size. So right now you should be using a 5.5 millimeter. So you would just go up to a 6.5. And that the extra width around on your needle will help you knit looser. I really can't knit tight. I would need to go down a few needle sizes. But if you're having a hard time inserting your loops, or it feels all like tight together, then you're knitting too tight. Now if you're knitting loose, there's going to be like, see how there's like a hole right here? It's because I had a loose stitch right there. It was loose. You want everything to kind of be the same tension all over so it has a uniform look. Let me see if I can knit loose. Alright, see how this stitch pulls down a whole lot? This is because I knit into it really loosely, followed by knitting into this one normally. So if you're knitting loose, you're going to have these pockets, these gaps in your work. And it's perfectly okay and perfectly 100% normal to have gaps like that when you're first starting out, because you don't know how to hold the yarn and you don't know how much give to put on it. And you're still learning. Believe me, I've been knitting for a long time and I am still mastering tension. It is still a struggle for me. And I knit almost every day before I had Reuben. Okay, so I knit 3 rows really loosely. So you can see here how there's gaps right here, whereas here when I knit tight, there's not. That's because I knit really loosely right here. So if you keep knitting, you're actually going to be making a bookmark. Yay, a bookmark. So for your homework, I want you to practice casting on and knitting at least 2 to 3 times before you go on to the next video. So take all this off. To unravel your yarn, you just pull on the working yarn and it just unravels just like that. Isn't that interesting? Bye-bye, project. It's actually kind of satisfying to pull it apart. I don't know why. And then you're just going to roll your yarn back around your skein so that it doesn't get tangled. And then you're just going to cast on all over again, starting with your slip knot. Another way to make a slip knot is to make a loop and then reach through the loop and pull up a section of your working yarn and put that section on your needle. And then, like I said, just cast on. I will say that if you're having a lot of trouble with these stitches slipping around, switch to wooden needles. The wooden needles, they are more expensive, and I don't know if they have them at Walmart, but they will hold your yarn better and it won't be as slidey. All right, so that's all for part 1 of casting on and knitting, and stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be purling.